Guys, what is good? How are you? Welcome to the Sound Design Hangout. Have you been enjoying the last few SDHOs? I know they've been a lot more talkative about various topics, AI, the future, all kinds of interesting things. Not so much Ableton as we're used to, but we're always changing, aren't we? And, I guess I've been having this inkling to do more talking about other topics like the future, spirituality, metaphysics, AI, all of that stuff. And hopefully you like that. I think I'm going to be doing a lot of that, especially I might create a new channel to do that stuff. Maybe I'll still upload it here. I'm not sure. And by the way, we're going to be doing Ableton today. In fact, we're going to make some cool ambient music using all of those like MIDI effects to like generate these like patterns that will sound very good. It's like probably one of my top favorite things to do on Ableton. But yeah, so I will be doing some live streaming soon. I finally just learned how to use OBS, and I see myself live streaming, so like you guys could join me, and when you live stream you've got that chat, so you can be like, hey, what about if you change the cutoff on the blah blah blah, what would that do to the sound? And I'll be like, oh, good idea. Or we'll just talk about stuff, you know what I mean? And I'm pretty excited. I don't know why, but I just got like really interested. I was like, you should probably open up that OBS and finally figure out how to use it, because like it might be really great to like live stream, because I think at some point I'm supposed to be talking to people about like the future, giving them hope, letting them know that the future and AI and robotics is really good, which if you watch the Let's Talk About the Future SDHO, talk about how in the not too distant future, probably like within 5 years, you're not going to need a job, and you're probably not even going to need money either, and that's going to be thanks to this new age of abundance, the age of Aquarius that we're now in, and that's amazing. So you can spend your time just making music and making art and just feeling good and hopeful and feeling free. And so, I'm really happy I learned that. I haven't done a live stream yet because I literally just figured out the audio monitoring, how that worked in OBS. I was really confused on that, and it wasn't working the way I thought, and that was like the big roadblock, but I figured it out, and I've got it all set up, and I like that you can make like little scenes and like click to another scene and it'll look, anyways, I don't need to get into it, but I'm really excited, really proud of myself. It's always good when you can say like, oh, I learned a new piece of software this year, or I learned a new thing, I learned a new instrument, or whatever it may be. So what are you thankful for? We're getting to the very end. It's actually the winter solstice today. I don't know when this is going to come out. I've actually been recording more of these, I was like more in like an art creation phase for a few months, and now I'm like really interested in making video productions and getting really creative with it and starting to talk about more like topics that I think is beneficial, because like we're moving into this very fast-paced future, which is going to bring a lot of amazing things, but people are going to want, hope for the future if they haven't found it yet within themselves yet, and they're going to want to know how to handle this new consciousness that is being birthed on the planet. And I'm not talking about AI or ultra terrestrials or whatever, which that's been interesting, but we have this unique ability with our consciousness up-leveling to go to the next octave of human consciousness, which is where you go beyond the mind, and it's like we're all being pushed there, and it can be kind of like a tough birthing process until you know how to finagle that. Not finagle, what is finagle? What a goofy word, but like just knowing how to, like what that process is and, you know, having like a foundation. And I think that's what I'm supposed to be doing in the future, which we're already in the future. So smash a like if you like the show, smash a like if you're excited about the future, and smash a like if you've started meditating yet. So why don't you follow along with me, grab any synth you want. I'm just gonna start with the sine wave. So like the default wavetable starts with the sine wave. Why does that sound like I have reverb on it? So let's see here. You can start with whatever you want. It doesn't even have to be a sine wave. What I like to do when I do this technique is I like to start it on a sine wave, you know, because a sine wave just sounds like a sine wave on anything. And then I like to build up like a beautiful, like wonderful sounding pattern. And then after it's sounding really good, excuse me, burpee today. Then I like to introduce some harmonics. And then that will then give me ideas of places to go. I would add a reverb, but because there's such a long trail, it's almost like it's giving its own, like, you know, like if I didn't have... Someone might be like, yo, mate, what is your favorite? Is it the attack, the decay, the sustain, or the release? I know you is not going to say something boring like the release. And I'd be like, no, that actually is my favorite. I love the release. Why does this sound... Okay, so what do we add first? So we go to MIDI effects. Okay, what do we add first? Let's add an appreciatia. Do we want to keep it on sync or free? I think we want free. Wait, why did it sound like... Did it not just sound like sine wavy there? Is that because like multiple waveforms, oscillators playing on top of each other that fast somehow are like phasing and they're giving off that sound? I don't know. Did that sound weird to you? That's weird. I'm going to take this release down a little bit. Yeah, I'm not hearing it when it's shorter. I do like release, but we're going to give it like a longer release. We're not really giving it like a long release in what we're about to do. We're actually like extending the notes, and I found it's really good for this. I think we want it here. I'm gonna drop a pitch in the beginning. Okay, let's lower the volume a little bit. Boy, these 13s keep popping up everywhere. I really like... Oh, God, and then I just turned it, and it randomly goes to 333. The aliens are with us. They is the... well, that's a really crazy thing. You know, we all talk about extraterrestrials. Well, there's this thing called ultra-terrestrials. And they're even crazier, you know? People used to think that it was so crazy that there would be these beings from other planets. That's so crazy. Well, you know what would be crazier is if these beings were actually here on the planet all along. That's even crazier. Ultra-terrestrials. What you know about that? All right, let's get back. Oh boy, I can't believe I don't have my trusty, dusty Limitia that catches all the peaks, prevents it from clipping. What you know. Okay. So let's go back to MIDI effects and let's add a ranzam. Where do I want to put it? I think the note length can go at the end here. Believe it or not, this order really does matter. I think note length can be at the end because I want all of these notes because I'm just playing one note and then it starts here on the left. And whatever note I play, like I realized I wanted these because I'm playing on like my laptop keys. And so like whatever note I'm playing, this pitch is then taking that note and it's like, I see you there and I'm going to raise you up 9 semitones. Why did I put 9 semitones? I don't know, because I wanted to be playing higher up than I was. You know, I've got like a little bit more than, Chunky, you're staring at me over there. Just come join the podcast, Chunky. Come on, Chunky. Join the podcast. I even got your green bony over there so you can chew on it, Chunky. Come on. Come on. Just staring at me like, come on. All right, do what you want. We'll be over here. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now, random's not going to do anything until you turn up the chants, silly. So see how like when I was doing that, this like 0 was like bopping around? You have to have the random after the arpeggiator. Because what's happening is that the arpeggiator is firing lots and lots of notes, and those lots and lots of notes are being fed into the random. I was about to say randomizer. It's not called randomizer, but I don't know, in that case it made sense to call it randomizer. And it's being fed into the randomizer, and all of those notes are being randomly adjusted. And based on this chance, if the chance is really low, the main note, you're going to see this 0 flash, you know, and then anytime it plays a note above, you'll then see this plus up here get lit up, and if it's below, it'll have this negative one. So right now it's on add, so like it's either going to play the note I'm playing or one above, but I want to put it on by. All right, so here we go. So by means it'll go up and down. Now, if I didn't and I had it here, just to let you know, if I had it here, I'm gonna just, whatever note I push, just to give you an idea of how this works, you know, with like the order of the MIDI effects. I know this isn't probably the funnest thing to know, but whatever, like it's educational. Whatever note I push, it's either going to, again, hit this 0 right here. It's going to flash, letting you know like the note you're playing is being played, okay? Or it's going to play one up, and then you'll get this plus will light up, or bottom. So it's just visual feedback, right? And whatever note that gets pushed, doesn't matter which one, it's going to then get repeated a whole bunch of times in this arpeggiator. I don't want that. I want it here. I want a whole bunch of notes to just stream, and every single one of those notes then gets the random. So you always want this random after the arpeggiator if you're going for this effect. You don't need this pitch here, so if you're like, oh my god, I don't really know why all this crap is here, well, it's because I'm not playing like a big keyboard where I know, oh, I want this note. Like, you know, like when you use your laptop keys, which I'm using because it's just very convenient for like this sort of setup that I have going on, it was outputting notes that were lower that I didn't like they were kind of lower bassier notes, and when a lot of those get triggered and they're longer, they can kind of like overlap in a way that's like muddy and doesn't sound good. So I just kind of keep that here. You don't probably need that. And then these notes, you know, lots of them are being triggered with the arpeggiator, which then all this stream of notes Chunky, come on. Come on. Whatever. They're being randomized. So all these notes get triggered. I push one little note. The arpeggiator spits out 112 millisecond notes. And then they get fed to the randomizer. So in any event, that's wonderful, that's wonderful, that's wonderful, that's wonderful, that's wonderful. So, to be honest, it's playing random notes. Now, random notes, we can play any note, right? You know, it will output any note. The problem with that, my friends, the problem with that is, well, first of all, it doesn't relate to any scale, you know? It's not tonal. What does tonal mean? Tonal means that it adheres to a scale, maybe a minor scale, a major scale, maybe a Dorian scale. But because it doesn't, because right now it's playing any note and all notes, it doesn't discriminate, it's atonal. And for some reason, it sounds pretty damn good as it is, but we don't want that. We want to throw a scale down here. Now, I think note length is kind of the last one. It basically says after all of these notes are coming in and you're shifting them with the processing, it then says, okay, now let's make all of these notes, regardless of what note, what pitch they are, let's now make them very long. Now, why would I want to even do that, right? Like, I thought we were making the notes very long by adjusting this release. Well, that's true too, but this is saying, because when I'm holding down a note and it's generating a lot, you know, if all of those notes, so like it's having the effect of, rather than just generating a bunch of like short notes, it's doing that, but it's making them all very, very, think of like a really long, like MIDI note. And then that sort of gives it like this, and maybe you don't want this effect, okay? Like, I just find that I like this, but it gives it the effect of, well, listen for yourself, right? Let's take this length all the way down. Okay, now listen to it. And again, so we're going to put the length up and listen. Let's turn it off. Now let's do the same thing with release and listen to the difference. It's nice, it's similar, but for whatever reason, when we keep moving forward and we add a lot of other things, it is a little bit different, but it's good to play with both, and then you just find this sweet spot. So maybe we can like map some macros and play around with that, but we added this scale. Right now the scale is doing nothing. And if you click this button, we can, let's just do Dorian, because we love Dorian here on the channel. It doesn't really matter what bass note it is. That just locks it to the scale. And again, we don't even need this pitch on. Sounds good, mate. And again, just to be aware, this synthesizer, although it's big and beefy, it's only a sine wave. That's it. Nothing. You could use analog, operator, your own plug-in soft synth. We're just doing sine wave, not because it needs to be sine wave, but because what I like to do is I like to build something up from scratch, and make it sound really good with the most basic thing, which is a sine wave, which means no harmonics. So it's like the most basic sound. I like to like make it sound good there and then add harmonics, because I find like when you do this technique and you like have a very complex waveform, that can sometimes skew the results. So like I feel like if you can make it sound really good just with a sine wave, then when you start adding in more harmonics, it can then get more complex, give you other ideas, and then if it's too much, you can then filter out some of the higher end harmonics, and if you need to, and then you can then do various post-processing things afterwards, like adding like a phaser or chorus or reverb or delay. Delay is really good to use with that stuff. Hey, what you got to say? Are you having fun with the MIDI effects? Are you having fun? Hopefully you are. Wonderful. So forget about pitch. I'm just using that because I'm on a laptop keys, which only gives me 14 notes. It gives me like C, an octave above C, and then it gives me a C sharp and a D, and that's like what I get. So I get like 14 notes, and the lowest note I play on my laptop keys is C3, which I was moving the pitch up because I wanted it higher, but this is really just for me. I'm only saying that because if you're getting anxiety, think you need to like learn all these things, you don't really need to worry about it. Wanted it higher. Okay, got it. Moving it on. Got it. So, first, oh, and by the way, if you're hitting your laptop keys and it starts at A and then it goes all the way up to L, this yellow piano icon needs to be on, which I think is just on by default. What the hell is this? Why? Oh, is that like the pen tool? Yeah, okay. I was just curious. For some reason I looked at it, I was like, I don't remember it looking that way. By the way, I'm using Ableton Live 11. I think Ableton Live 12 has maybe been out for a year. Are you guys using that at all? I thought I was gonna like get it for like Christmas this year. Oh, that's so sad, mate. Yo, this man is so lonely. He is be like giving himself Christmas presents and some shit. Yo, mate, that's like the saddest shit I done ever heard. Yo, you's got normal people out there. They's like, yo, I'm about to give me mate some presents, cause like that's what a normal person does. But this bloke, this dirty bloke, he's like, he gets himself Christmas presents because like he ain't got no one else to give the presents to besides his family. That's kind of a good thing that he still has that going on for him or whatever. I don't know. I'm going to just jump into like little comedy routines. Hope you don't mind. Whatever. I'm very happy. I like my solitary life with my cute pudgy puggy who's he's in the couch on top of a bunch of blankies. You know, you could come over here, Chunkush. You were certainly wanting to be on camera, the other SDHO. Now you're just wanting to hide in the blankies, all comfy and cozy. So let's talk about this chain of command here before we move forward, because I want to explain into your brain, mate. Wonderful. So I press a note, and the arpeggiator is playing notes every 112. Oh shit. Every 111, 111. What you know about that shit, mate? Every 111 milliseconds. So we're getting all of these notes. And these notes are being ran through the randomizer. I've never called it randomizer before, but I'm calling it that because I have to now, because it just sounds right. It's being run through the randomizer, and 19% of the time that these notes get pushed through it, it's going to play a different note than what I played. It might be a pitch above, right ear, or pitch below, right ear, and it will light up to let us know. The other percent of the time, was it 71%, 81%? I don't know. It will play that note. And we can change that later. If we did it like this, it would never play the note that I would play. See? Yo, mate, that's my beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And then all of those notes that are being cycled through are then being altered, from this arpeggiator by the randomizer. It's then being sent into this mode, which says, "Hey, I'm going to lock you into scale, which will be a Dorian scale. Okay, if you want a different scale, you can click this. These are all the presets. Have fun with it. They shouldn't even have to do that. This should just be like a drop-down box. You know what I was saying? And then after that happens, all of those notes that are now locked to the Dorian scale, which is just a really good scale. I implore you to play around with it. Those notes that are really short are now being made very long. And when they're being made very long, they sort of, it's just good for ambient music. And to be honest, it just gives a result and output that I like. Now, before I move on to making this sound really good, now that we're caught up, I feel like there's a certain MIDI, well, there's a lot more MIDI effects now. I'm like, am I forgetting a damn MIDI effect? Oh, velocity, because we don't want them to all be the same velocity. I think the velocity should go last, or not last. I don't think it really matters if it's after or before. What I like to do is I like to put it on fixed. So right now, everyone would play at 127, which is the highest output, but I don't want that. I want to like put it maybe here. So all the way up. See how now we can't hear anything because it's the lowest velocities. So I want to put it somewhere here, and then I want to turn up the random, which will give us different velocities. Now, you won't hear any velocities if your synth isn't set up for velocity. So where is velocity on the synth? I think we need to go to MIDI. So the amp, which is volume, velocity, there's a 50 there, okay? So we're getting velocity. Just make sure you've got velocity to volume on your synth. Okay. Let's turn it off. Sounds a little bit flat. I'm going to play with tearing this release down. I'm going to play with the note length. And you could do this on any synth, but I'm going to, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate this sub, which is basically just going to play like another note an octave below, which is something that you'll be able to do on any synth. But now listen to it. And I'm going to turn this gain all the way down so we won't hear it, but I want to bring it up and then you'll hear its effect and then we can like dial it in. So ready? I don't like that abrupt ending, even though I want to give it more release. Now, what's sort of like audio effects? So, okay, before we go to the audio effects, we're going to grab a delay, of course. You might say, hey, mate, that would sound mad brilliant if you was like put a reverb on there. You know what I mean? Make it all like, you know, reverby. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you just got them ambient sounds and then you just like put that reverb on there and it's like mad juicy and mad wicked. You know what I be saying, mate? Actually, when you have continuously playing sounds that continuously play these walls of sound textures, reverb is actually not that good for that. In fact, you actually, unless you really crank the reverb settings, which, I mean, doesn't sound that good, you know, if you have like the reverb on like 100% wet, you know, or like really long decay. Reverb is actually best for shorter sounds, so staccato sounds, but like legato sounds, like what we're doing right now. Sometimes you can't even really hear the reverb, you know what I mean? Like a reverb you like hear a lot more when you like hit a noise like, right? So you hear that noise, doo. But if you put a reverb on it, it's like, doo. Rather than doop, doop. Reverb would be like, doo. Wait, maybe let me do it again. Doo. You know? But if the sound is like, reverb, like, you can't really hear that reverb that much. And it actually does more to like muddy up your sound. It like doesn't do much. Sometimes you can't even hear its effect. But what's really good is when you throw the delay, okay? So when you throw the delay, okay? Let's get that delay up on you. Put the delay before the limiter. So if all these delayed with all of these notes, all of this stuff coming true, you can already see it's peaking almost at negative point 1 dB. It can get unruly, so you want it before the limits, yeah. And now let's play, but let's put the dry wet on 0, so all dry, so you're not even hearing any delay. It would be the same as if it wasn't even here or bypassed, and then we'll bring it up. We'll hear that. It's giving it like a spatial width. Let's talk about my settings. Whenever I use a delay, I never use it where they're both on the same one. I like to use it where they're different. So it's got like Chunky jumped off the couch, and now he went over to the stairs, and now he's thinking about running up the stairs. But because I said his name, he then looked at me, and now he's laying on his little doggy bed on the floor with a comfy blankie on it. And I should have like a doggy cam or something. So like I like these ones, how it's set here, if you want to follow along. The important things to play with is the dry wet and the feedback after you've gotten these like that. I want a different type of delay. This 3 puts it on like a triplet delay, and then this puts it on a not one, so it's like different on both, but it's like enough delays on the left and the right that it gives the effect that I won't. And maybe do that if you want. So I'm going to adjust the key things here, which is going to be this rate, this chance, and we could make a MIDI effect rack of that if we want, but like I don't want to be like setting mappings right now. I kind of just want to play it and make it sound good. This length here. So those would be things you might want to add to your MIDI effect rack. It would be this length right here, like just like the most important controls. So like it would be the length of these MIDI notes, because like let's turn all the way down, but now let's bring it up. Hey mate, you was be talking about all of that AI and that future stuff. Yo, and you used to be scaring the hell out of me. I was like, hey, I don't think I like watching this guy anymore. And now you's on here today making this beautiful music, and I'm like, hey, I'm not so scared of you anymore. You're making me feel all right, Gemini. That's good, that's good. It's making me not go mental. Okay, let's go. Just holding one note. Wonderful. those wonderful sounds, they're just sine waves. So what we're going to do now is we're going to give it some harmonics and see how it changes. Let's go. Are you ready? Lower the frequencies. I'm gonna put on like a different one. Now I'm just like touching it, like rather than holding it down, like the note I'm playing, I'm just playing one note, like just playing one note, and it's doing all this. But like, let's just touch, like just touch it, right? Oh my God, guys. It's as if, come on, Chunky. Chunky, come on. Come on. He's right there. Chunky, I don't think anyone can see you, Chunky. Get on the couchy. I have to do that, not because I'm being like weird, but he'll like snort, like pugs like shoot like fluid out of their noses, and like, you know, you don't want it to get on the screen, so I just kind of have to like do that. I'm not being like weird or anything. You know, I love my puggies. So like I was trying to be like very quirky and be like, oh, like, because like what happens is when you're doing this technique, if you didn't know any better, you'd say, well, yeah, all of these things are, you know, playing all of these notes randomly, but sometimes it seems so musical, so deliberate, that you might think there's an intelligence coming through. So I'm going to play around and like, I don't know, just make some things, change some parameters and see what we get. Mate. look at right here. Look at this. Look at that. I mean, like, it's kind of interesting, right? I don't know. So what's really unique is then we can do this. Not good. It actually sounded best before. It's actually a ticket on Complex Pro. I just like pitch it. It actually sounds good on the tones warp mode. Oh wow. We got a wild and crazy puggy over there. Who would have ever thought? Got crazy puggy. So what'd you think? Was that fun? Even though we're at the end of 2024, this is like the first SDHO where I've really pushed Ableton Live really hard on like the computer that I use, that I've always used in all of these videos. I've had this computer for the last 4 years. And if you remember some of my previous ones, I was having these audio issues. I still don't know why they happened. They're gone now. If I pushed Ableton really hard, it would like crackle and like split up. And I thought it had to do with like these weird audio issues or whatever. But the crazy thing is that because they were happening, it made me be like, well, what's another way that I could like record these things without using my current setup to figure it out? And it pushed me to like learn OBS, which wasn't the solution. And I don't even know what the solution was, but like I think I was like just supposed to learn how to like use that software, and this made me do it. And so now I'm realizing that I don't think anything was wrong. I think situations just congealed and happened in my life to make something happen. So I think it goes to show as like a very important point that like when life is making things not work or operate in the way that you would want them to, sometimes it's like pushing you to like do more or to like evolve out of your comfort zone so that you like reap the rewards of not staying in some stasis, you know what I'm saying? And so like because I did all of that, it made me learn like my setup better. It made me get a new audio interface. It made me update all my softwares. It made me go through every piece of the signal chain. It then gave me the gift of like now I'm like gonna be able to you know, start live streaming, and I'm like really excited about that. And so like, you know, take every roadblock, take every block on the way of your journey as like something good, something beneficial is coming to you, you know, in this process. Although it might not seem like it at the time. Like I was freaking out. I was like, why the hell can I like no longer record these videos anymore? I thought it was because it was like the new like Mac OS like software update that was doing it, but like I pushed it really hard and it did like do a couple of clicks and pops, I noticed, but I think it's because it was getting close to like 50% CPU usage. So it actually might have just been that, like maybe the CPU got too high. But like, I don't know, man. In any event, I'm very happy, I'm very thankful, very grateful. Hopefully you'll keep watching. This is really like one of the coolest things ever. Like I love these like MIDI effects and generating these crazy patterns. They're so beautiful, so awesome. And I hope you guys are all doing well. Wow, I don't know what SDHO this is. This is like 97, 98, 99. I don't even know. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. We finally got our favorite pudgy pug, our favorite pudgy puggy to join us on the couch. He's good boy Tongu. I don't know if they can see you with this laptop here, but yeah, I'm definitely feeling like making videos. I might talk about some other things, so hopefully you'll join me for them things, because I think it's beneficial things. I think I'm here in this planet to like talk and tell people about important things. So maybe you'll find some use in those things if you would keep watching the videos that I make, especially the ones that aren't like Ableton related. But this was fun as hell, and I actually had fun using this because I don't really use Ableton that much anymore, but I've used it for over 10 years, so like, you know, I can just do it. So anyways, guys, have a great night. The Age of Aquarius is here. God bless yourself, and good night.